YouTube? I'm your friendly neighborhood Endman64, bringing you the next episode of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories as part of the road to Kingdom Hearts 3. In the last episode, we tackled Wonderland and Atlantica, and took on the Trickmaster and Ursula, which means we only have 2 more worlds left to take on as Riku. At least 2 more Disney worlds to take on as Riku. Now we have Olympus and we have Halloween Town. And since Hades is probably one of the tougher fights for Riku to be able to handle, and since Ursula almost killed us, which is mainly because of how lousy Atlantica's deck is, I think we're going to go with Halloween Town first. Namely to get some good experience against the Heartless here, and then also to get Oogie Boogie's villain card. I'm trying to remember how this world is shaped. The last one I remember is shaped very weirdly, but I'm trying to remember how this one is. Let's see. Check that map out first before we do anything else. So we go up, and then there. Okay, so these 2 are pointless. Alright. And in the last episode, I was also doing some... I was also answering some questions for you guys, so I guess I should continue and answer some more questions, since I do still have a few that I have not answered for you guys, and I would like to answer them now. Okay, so let's see. Okay, here's one. What classic video games would you like to be remade? See, I would rather a new game from an old franchise pop out than a game get remade or remastered or what have you. Granted, I've loved many of the remasters that have popped out for games, so like, I think Pac-Man World obviously was fantastic. The Insane Trilogy for Crash, fantastic. The Reignited Trilogy for Spyro. So many of the things have come, of the remasterings and reimagined or whatever, that a lot of them have come out and have been really, really good. But there have also been some that I don't understand why they either keep getting remade. I mean, I know why, because of money, but then there's also ones where it's like, what's even the point? Out of my way. And I would rather an original game pop out from people instead of games getting remade. But if I absolutely had to pick a game that I wanted to see remade from the top down with new assets, maybe a couple of new characters to play in or something like that, for me the first option would be Backyard Baseball. Now, Backyard Baseball died with good reason in the late 2000s. Mainly because they put more emphasis on trying to copy the realistic controls of the show games, rather than have the funny, quirky styles that had been Backyard Sports' staple for years. And also putting more emphasis on the new stars that were coming up, so classic baseball players were getting replaced by the younger guys, stuff like that. Now again, I don't have an issue with stuff like that. I don't have an issue with the newer guys taking over for the older guys, but there's a clear dip in quality after, say, Backyard Baseball 2005 in comparison to Backyard Baseball 2007. It's just like an example. So like, I played a lot of Backyard Baseball 2005. And yeah, I basically knew all of the unlock requirements for characters by heart. So like, you had to hit a grand slam to unlock Mike Piazza. You had to, I think you had to like pitch a no-hitter to unlock Randy Johnson. and throw like a complete game shutout or something to get Greg Maddux, they get hit with a cycle to get another guy, strike out 10 batters to get Pedro Martinez or something like that. In general, that's just, like, I remember stuff about that. I remember that was the last time the backyard games really felt like they were fun, you know? I own Backyard Baseball 2007, and my thoughts on the game are very lukewarm. Mainly because, like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't like the change of the people hosting the games. I don't like that they took a lot of stuff away. They sort of tried to make it look more realistic. And in turn, because they didn't want to put in the extra money to make other things, parts of the game realistic, it just looked really weak. The camera was terrible. You couldn't tell if someone had the ball or not. There was a ton of, like, movement delay in it. It was just not a good game. And it still is not a good game. The only reason I have it is because it's basically for fun side stuff purposes, because a couple of friends and I used to play the game a lot, either to make fun of it or just because we got bored of Mario Superstar Baseball or something like that. I know me and my friend Scott played it a couple of times. I know JD and I used to make fun of it constantly. But that was my last Backyard Baseball game. I know they made one for the Wii, and that was really poorly received, and that's ultimately what did the franchise in. But they've brought back the old games on Switch and on Steam, with a couple of exceptions. Like, they brought back the original game on Switch, pretty much completely unchanged. But they also brought back 2001 on Steam, which took away some of the characters' names, I think mainly because of, like, licensing rights. Because since 2001, Barry Bonds left the MLBPA. So that's, remember when we did MLB Power Pros, he was the not Reggie Stalker, he was the Ray Gonzalez guy. Which is really funny now that I've played Paper Mario, remember that's exactly what frickin' Mario's wrestling name was. It's very funny. But anyway, he's not in the game anymore. Ken Griffey Jr. is not in the game anymore. And I think the other one was Frank Thomas isn't in the game anymore. But every other character, every other player remains pretty much untouched. And yes, they have... What they did was the same thing that the other games did, where they just renamed the players. They have the exact same stats, exact same stuff, but it's just not those players anymore. But I would love to see them remake the game, but go back to the fun controls of the original games. And another one that I would like to see come back, as you would imagine, MLB Power Pros. Now, again, they brought a Power Pros game to the United States and put it on sale for pretty much all of the main systems. The problem is, as you would expect, it's not geared towards a story mode or a season mode, which is why we played those games to begin with. It's geared towards... like specifically online play. And let's be real, I have no intention of doing online play for that. Like, I thought it would be a nice thing for Mark and I to do for After Dark, but neither of us had really big interest in it after the game came out. And so much so that I bought the game when it came out using, like, the free gold points that the Switch had, and I immediately regretted it. Because it's all about online competitive, and in case any of y'all know, that does absolutely nothing for me. I don't care about online competitive, but apparently they think the MLB Power Pros fan base that's what they want. Maybe in Japan that is what they want, but most people I know who are fans of MLB Power Pros want games like the originals back. Obviously, you don't want to just bring back the originals with a new coat of paint, but I'd like to see them change things, like update the rosters, something like that. I'd love to see what Juan Soto would look like in that game, or Mike Trout, or any of the other big name players out there. Unfortunately, really, Riku? Big jump my ass. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna end up seeing that, and that's unfortunate, but what you gonna do? The only other game I could really think that I would like to see get remade, or at least reimagined, is was it the Walt Disney World Racing that was on PS1? I would love to see that get remade. Oh, hi. Why did those freaking Heartless do so much damage to me? Good thing I did Halloween Town first, because at least I'll be able to grind better more. But I would love to see that game get brought back. The Walt Disney World Racing. Especially with all of the new rides that are at Disney now and all the stuff that's been updated. You'd be like, oh, well, that's cool. Why don't we do something like that? Why don't we bring this back? Why don't we do this, sir? It'd just be really nice to see. Them revamp it, maybe update some of the rides that aren't there anymore, or put them in as bonus DLC. I wouldn't even mind any of that. I would love to see something like that. Like, no offense to the PS1 old school Disney games, but a lot of them were not that good. Like, I have a soft spot for I have a soft spot for Aladdin, the Aladdin game. I have a soft spot for the Emperor's New Groove game, Hercules, Toy Story 2. But a lot of them did not age well. But that is one of the ones that, strangely enough, did age decently well. It is a Mario Kart clone, but like I'm not even angry about that. I'm like, I would love to see how they would handle it. Like, with all of their resources now, Disney could do something like have races those characters. Unfortunately, Disney's more focused on the, what's it called, games like the was it Starlight Valley? Not Starlight Valley, I think it's Dreamlight Valley or something like that. The simulator game, Speedstorm, and any of the other games are more or less just getting revived and just plopped on systems, like with the Lion King and Aladdin games from the SNES. Or on my PS4, I have Buzz Lightyear Star Command. That game is aged as well as butter. I don't know, it aged like milk, not butter. It is terrible. But yeah, I would like to see them update that, give a couple of nice courses. I know it's not gonna happen. I know none of the games I want to get remade are gonna get remade. We'll put out like our 8th remastering of freaking Ocarina of Time before we do any of the other things. Like, hell, you know what? I found another one. I would love to see Kid Icarus Uprising get remade. That game is an underrated treasure of a game. Like, I was not expecting much when I bought that game. And when I played it, I fell in love. Take this. It's one of those games where it's kind of like Star Fox Assault, where the game doesn't have like the best reputation, but when you play it, it plays so well. And I just wish we were able to take it seriously. But alas, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Oh well. Alright, let's try to get him. Let's try to get some more positive vibes in this in these Q&As. Okay, let's jump to the next question. Okay, here's one. What are you've always mentioned what your top 10 favorite openings are for Disney movies. What are your top 10 least favorite? Ooh. I feel like I've answered this one before, but I think I answered it on a Facebook question, but I will answer it again because it's an interesting question. I have to think here. One of my big pet peeves when it comes to openings is ones that are repetitive. Now I don't hold that against something in like a collection, for example. Like I don't need every tape of the Winnie the Pooh learning collection, the learning videos, to have their own trailers on them. Like, that's not what like bugs me about that. What does bug me about certain video releases is when trailers get used all the time on every video, and I know the trailers by heart. That's kind of obnoxious. Which is ironic, considering a lot of the trailers I know by heart are ones that I use a lot in my trailers and my own openings videos. But an example for me that I could think of right now, a lot of the Gold Classics openings I absolutely despise. There are only a handful of ones where I'm like, you know what, that's not bad. Or, like, it's unique or something like that. Like, I was talking with one of the people who was asking for an opening for the Advent calendar, and I didn't know there were, like, multiple different holiday promos that were on the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas video. Hell, I didn't even think the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Gold Classics collection had a tape master that was different from the one that came out the year prior, but go figure, it did. I'm genuinely impressed. And I own it now, which is nice, which means I'll be able to use it as some footage in other videos. Again, very thankful for that. But a lot of the Gold Classics have the same few trailers. Emperor's New Groove, The Tigger Movie, Fantasia 2000, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. That same jingle that's used in the Gold Classics collections. It drives me insane every time I would put one of those tapes on. That's why I'm in like no real rush to collect the Gold Classics. And I'm like, I don't need to see them. I'm not in that big of a rush to collect some movies for video. Even though that actually is one of the few Disney movies I don't own video specifically, not DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. I do own Make Mine Music, which is good because we're out of max cards again. Good lord. Means we're getting a lot of duplicates. And these stupid cards that nobody asked for. Were we doing the bigs for these or the little ones? Big, so let's get rid of these. Speaking of which, we'll get rid of these extra ones, too. Alright, so let's see. Keep those ones. Keep those ones. Those are fine. You can go away. You're fine. You can go away. You're fine. Get rid of that extra 0. Good lord. So many unnecessary extra cards being pumped in here. Alright, that should be enough for a little bit. But that's one of the pet peeves I have. Like, ones that have, like, overused trailers and stuff like that, I can't stand. But that was pretty much near, like, as the VHS was winding down in, like, hyper sales and availability and stuff like that. So by that point, you had to expect that Disney was really not going to be putting that much effort into making unique trailers or something for VHSs specifically. So like when I would watch an old videotape, like let's say Monsters Inc. for example, like I think all the trailers in that movie, with the exception of the Finding Nemo one, are used in another movie or on another trailer. Like they have the Inspector Gadget trailer, you have the let's use one of those. You have the Inspector Gadget trailer, you have the Beauty and the Beast trailer, Treasure Planet, Lilo and Stitch. But in general, like the main trailers are from stuff that's been out in 2002 already.
Your Majesty, come on!
That's why I try to give love to some of the trailers that weren't seen as much. Like the Lion King IMAX trailer or the Kingdom Hearts promo. I try to do as many unique trailers when I do the 2000s. I do videos from the 2000s as I can. Unless, of course, someone made a request, in which case I go abide by their requests. Like movies with repetitive trailers, that would be number 3. My big pet peeve. My second pet peeve is the one trailer ones. I did not mean to trigger this one, but hey, it's fun, I can fly. It's fun, I can fly.
Come on!
My second are the one trailer ones.
Take this!
I do not like one trailer ones. Granted, it gets you to the movie faster, which is what most people probably prefer. But, like, I cannot stand when it's just one trailer and now our feature presentation. It feels like there wasn't... It feels like there was more that you could have shown off.
Take this!
Like, I don't know. Like, I'll give the early Disney movies a pass, like Pinocchio when it came out. Because there really wasn't much to advertise for Disney. And like the Sword in the Stone with the Journey of Natty Gann trailer. Like, I don't hold that against that, you know? But once you got to like the point where you're like in the late 80s, early 90s, you sort of run out of excuses to why you only have one trailer on your films. Like the Bambi one, for example, had just the preview for the teaser for The Little Mermaid on it, and it's like you don't want to advertise like any other movies coming to theaters or ones that are coming to video or something like that. Like I would love the advertising for that, but evidently I am the exception to the rule. Or maybe you guys also feel that same way about me. But like my go-to example for a movie that really should have had like a trailer or two, more than one trailer in front of it, at least by the point it came out. I have two examples of it because they're both kind of egregious. And both, oddly enough, I think were released on video the same year. The first is Blank Check. Now, Blank Check is a terrible movie, in case you haven't seen it, about a 10-year-old kid who is treated like he's like a 30-year-old guy when his brothers steal his money, and he's like, his dad's like, well, they need money for their business. You should be starting a business. You're already 8 years old, like 9 years old. You should have a business and a master's degree by now. I know it's supposed to be a joke, but it's actually a very, very rigid commentary on the collapse of the American dream. But again, this ain't a political channel, so we ain't gonna be talking about that. What we will be talking about, however, is the fact that and the kid, of course, gets hit by a car. The guy's panicking. He thinks he's going to be in a lot of trouble, missing a big meeting. So he gives the kid a check that he was supposed to write out a number on the check. He just signed it and ran off. And what the kid does is he goes and he cashes it for $1 million. Now, to a kid who grew up in the 90s, $1 million could have probably bought you a lot, but definitely not what the kid used in that movie. He had a castle, I think he had his own roller coaster. Very silly. But again, like one of those fun kind of silly.
Like it.
But all that movie had in front of it was a trailer for Angels in the Outfield. The other example is one I actually just bought recently and I showed off in a collections video, and that's Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. Now, Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book had 2 versions of it, so before anyone says, oh, well, what about the one that has 3 trailers on it? I'm talking about the one I currently own, which only has the Goofy movie trailer on it, and nothing else. Like, you couldn't even give the Muppet Classic Theater trailer for it? No, apparently we could not. Yes, I know the other one exists that has the Toy Story behind the scenes thing and stuff like that. Unfortunately, my version didn't. And actually, there are other versions of tapes that do have... There are other variations of tapes that only have one trailer. Significantly less, like the Fox and the Hound. One that only has the trailer for Lion King on it, while others have the Return of Jafar on it.
Your Majesty.
But in general, those are the Blank Check and the Jungle Book are the 2 I go to, as in, like, there's no reason for this. Rescuers Down Under as well, but I don't know. I don't really care about Rescuers Down Under right now. The worst openings for movies, however. Fortunately, Disney doesn't use it that much, but it is kind of egregious that they used it as much as they did, are the ones with no trailers. Trailers are supposed to get you excited for movies. Like, if I'm going to see a movie in theaters, I kind of expect and almost demand there be some kind of trailers before the movie. Like, when we went to go see Lion King in theaters last year for its anniversary, I was afraid they weren't going to have trailers before it. But fortunately, they did. It was for all new stuff that was coming out, like the Wild Robot movie and one other movie that I can't really think about right now. But in general, those were the movies that they had trailers for it. And we just saw The Sound of Music not that long ago in theaters. And it was more, because we bought it from a special company, those tickets, it was the special company's own personal movie collection that they were showing off. Like, they're making a movie about Rodgers and Hammerstein and the success that they had together. Blah, 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 blah. You get the drill. You get the drill.